What's up, adventurous? Welcome back to another episode of Hops Geek News, a podcast that talks about comic books, movies, TV shows, and of course, we are back this week featuring a beer from each of us because it had been a couple weeks since we did that, and that's a staple of the show. So, that said, if you want to find us, I am Matt. With me is Lauren. We have a couple special guests with us who have been on before, Christian and James, coming from us from Fugitive Poems. We'll get to them in a second. My beer this week. Actually, before I even get to the beer this week, what am I doing? Am I new? I'm sorry. Hey, if this is your first time listening to the show, by all means, please, Hops Geek News on any podcasting platform, any social media platform. Come see us. Come hang out with us. Come become part of the family. Join the Discord. We talk a lot of good stuff. And then if you want to support the show, because everything that comes to us goes right back into making a better product for you, patreon.com/hopsgeeknews. So, housekeeping out of the way. Now my beer of the week is from a little place in Portland, Maine, one of the least well-known breweries because it's stacked up against two very big breweries. This comes from Battery Steel Brewing. It's called Flume.
Oh.
Yes, it is in Industrial Way. It's right next to Allagash. It's next to Foundation. It's next to Definitive. So if you happen to be in Portland, go to Industrial. You're able to hit 4 breweries and a distillery and a pizza shop. That's the first stop in Portland, Maine.
Do the pizza shop first.
Well, you order your beers.
And last.
Order the pizza, and then you can have your beers, play some Super Nintendo and Definitive, and then but Battery Steel is like a little hole in the wall right there. They put out some of the best IPAs I've ever had, and this one's called Flume. It's a double IPA coming in at 8%. I chose this one because there is a hiking trail in New Hampshire called the Flume Gorge, and it's, just woods and river running through, and you hike along it. And that made me think of Indiana Jones because Indiana Jones is an adventure. You're
That's the first thing I thought.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly why I chose it.
Going up there in a couple of weeks, actually.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I can't wait to go. Now that I'm going to be moving to the East Coast, I'm going to be closer to home. I'm going to be visiting home a lot more frequently, so I'm stoked for that. And if you guys happen to also find yourself in New Hampshire, go to the Flume Gorge, go hike, check out the White Mountains. You will not be disappointed. Lauren, what you got in your chalice over there?
I am drinking out of my holy grail.
Did you choose wisely or did you choose poorly?
So I choose wisely, but it was because my daughter. So Kaylee was making dinner, my oldest. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll drink it out of my Mickey Germany glass because Indiana Jones is at Disney and he fights Nazis. And she's like, I feel like that's in bad taste to be drinking out of a German glass. So, and then she actually the blood of your enemies. She goes, why don't you drink it out of one of your goblets? So it's like the Holy Grail. So Kaylee picked out my glass. It's perfect. I actually got this glass for free when I was in Greece. The lady, my husband told the lady at the bar that I like craft beers. There's a craft beer bar in Athens. And she gave me a whole bunch of crap. She's like, take some labels, take some stickers and beer caps and 2 glasses and beer to go. And so that was awesome. And then this is my second Tripping Animals tonight. It is also a double IPA with Idaho 7, Mosaic, and Azaka hops called the Launch Box. And if you look, I think it's a lizard, not a snake, but it kind of looks like a snake. And he's wearing an Indiana Jones hat.
Oh, I thought that was like a pilgrim after the fact. Honestly, actually, at first I thought it was the Wicked Witch of the West. It's the Wicked Witch of the West, I thought. But you're right. I see it now.
And he's got a whip.
A whip.
Whip.
Oh, I'm stupid. By the way, Lauren, for when you go, it's Industrial Way. It says right on the can. My bad.
Industrial Way.
You think I know these things, stupid. Anyways.
So that's what I'm drinking.
Here, once again, we're talking Indiana Jones today, folks. Dial of Destiny is coming out this week. So we're here to talk Indiana Jones. So we couldn't do that alone because this is one big adventure. And 2 guys who know adventures like no other. Returning to the podcast, we have Christian and James. James, I'm going to let you kick it off this time. Why don't you tell us what you're drinking? And then you guys, hey, introduce yourselves just in case nobody knew who you were. And tell us what's been happening since your latest release of Containment Breach.
All right. I'm going with a new concoction of an old favorite. So limited edition Sierra Nevada Summerfest lager. Really been enjoying it. Got a 12-pack of it and it's almost gone. Really nice, sort of traditional lager taste, but with a bit more alcohol than the norm, like a 5%. So it's perfect for summer.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, love it. I love the Torpedoes is one of my favorites. Yeah, old time favorite.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sierra Nevada, like they're the gateway drug, so to speak, into craft beer. We always say.
Yeah, yeah. One of
And
the
still
one of the
great
OGs,
go-tos.
right?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, so we've had a lot going on since we last talked. We got our new book out, so Containment Breach 3 is uh in our hands, and my partner there, Christian, is in the throes of packing them all up and sending them out and putting all the swag together to send out with them. We're very excited about that. We funded that fully over Kickstarter and then some. And we actually have we've been very busy this year. We actually put together two of our anthology books at the same time, so we could then launch them close together. So with that said, we're actually going to be launching Containment Breach 4. So Containment Breach 3 was called Clouds and Ether, which is it sort of ended up being a sci-fi theme because that's what came into a lot of people's heads. We didn't really give a specific theme like that, but it really turned into a cool sci-fi book. And Containment Breach 4, we wanted to go kind of in the opposite direction, and we came up with Monsters, Beasts, and Bastards for the theme for that.
Yo, I
So
love that so much.
yeah, yeah. So we collected stories from 32, Christian, about 32 uh,
About, yeah.
partnerships that we,
Yeah.
as we did the last books, we partnered together, writers and artists, and all together we had about 32 teams, and so many submissions that we decided to split it up into two books. So we've been real busy. 3 and 4 put together, probably in about 6 months, and then funding them with closely together. And then we're also going to be back at Terrificon here in Connecticut
Oh yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
at the casinos. That's July 28th. That's when we're going to actually launch uh, the second Kickstarter of the year. And we're actually going and breaking new ground. We're going down to Baltimore Comic Con this year for the first time. We've never even been there. So we're kind of excited about that. So that's
Dude, that's what I'm talking about. That's crazy. Putting out like
yeah,
two anthologies and you guys are putting in work. That's awesome.
yeah, we're trying to push hard. We're gonna finish up this fourth anthology, and then we're gonna go and do our first one-off, just Christian and I,
Yeah.
called River. We've got about 20 pages together. We're gonna do about 60 or 70 pages. We're
Yeah.
trying to decide whether we're gonna do issues or all in one. We're leaning towards issues right now.
Awesome. That's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Christian, I know he's sitting over there chomping the bit too. And you guys are putting in like really good work. It's anthologies are no joke. Like what you most people do in probably like a 3-year span, you guys have just put out in a 6-month span. It is, I know it's a collection of a lot of different people, but you guys also play a really big hand. I mean, you've also put your own stories into this. And of course, you're doing all the funding, you're doing the legwork for it. So it's not lost on me just how important it is. So I hope people out there who want to check out something really exciting, support indie writers, especially in a time right now where everybody wants to move to AI art, everybody wants to move to AI writing, and it's no stories like Containment Breach and the things that you guys are putting out and everybody else is putting out. This is why we need to not do the AI. So I love reading these and I can't wait to dive in and check out this Kickstarter as well.
I think AI is I think it'll settle in. I think people will use it more properly as a tool. I don't think it's not an end game tool,
Mhm.
but if it's used correctly, it can speed up
Oh, for sure.
production process and so forth.
We're
And
supposed to.
I yeah, I follow lots of artists on Instagram and so forth, and I'll poke Instagram AI art as well, and just watch and see what they're putting up. And I'm not overly concerned. First thing to me, I don't know if it's just my trained eye or what, but I can catch the AI art from a mile away, right? There's like, they make faces, but there's no expression on the faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad
You
you
can
said
tell
there's
it's kind
no.
of, it's like you can see that it's like a computer's version of whatever they're drawing.
There's no
So I mean,
life.
Soulless.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, soulless. I don't see that taking over. I think eventually the fad will pass, and it's not going anywhere. But yeah, I don't think people will just be putting out strictly word prompted artwork anymore.
Mhm.
Good. Well, the other man that we have, speaking of, Dr. Jones, he's a professor turned adventurist. They don't pay our teachers enough, folks. And this man right here, Christian, is another example of that. He is a professor, a teacher, and look at that. He's out here still hustling and putting in work at the comics. Christian, what's up? Also, when you start talking, show up that comic one more time so everybody can see it when you're
I
showing
was
your beautiful
gonna,
face.
because much more beautiful is what James did on this cover. I love James's cover for volume 1. I love James' cover for volume 2. I mean, they blow my mind, but this is my favorite so far.
Ooh,
This is
Mad
so,
Max
I don't know if you remember
Adventures.
Heavy Metal Magazine.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we're both heavy metal fans, music and magazine. I think this is stunning. I think this is one of the most stunning things he's ever done. That texture on the back of the car. What kind of car is it, James?
That's a Porsche
I was gonna say
356.
a Porsche. Yeah.
I mean, look at that. The highway and I absolutely love this cover. This is 152 pages
Wow.
of badass adventure. And this is what we're humping is unfettered, unrivaled imagination. We're not looking for anything but the real. We give you a theme and you go to town on it. And I am so lucky that I've got a partner, my brother James, who can come up with anything shit that I come up with. Can we curse on this one?
Yeah,
Of
you're good.
course.
Oh, good. I apologize. I forgot what day of the week it was. And my amazing neighbor, Charles Westby, right next door, he offered me a beer and we had 4 of them. So I've had a couple of beers already.
You came
So what are you
pre-Uber.
drinking right now?
Well, I am drinking Ghost.
Ooh.
It is from, well, I'm going to pretend that I don't need glasses, but it's from a Bayshore, which I believe is Long Island, New York
Oh,
brewery.
get out of here. I used to live in Bayshore,
Is that Long Island or Queens?
Long Island.
Okay, good. So here, style. Listen to this. Nitro double cream ale brewed with banana, peanut butter, and lactose, which I've never seen anyone advertise that before. Lactose.
Oh yeah,
Makes
it's been
it
a big
sweeter.
thing. Yeah, it makes it a
Is
little
that right?
sweeter. Yep.
It's
Well,
milk
I'm
sugar.
going to warn you, the ABV is 8%.
Yeah, that's what Matt and I are drinking. You're right
That's
up with
hey,
us.
you're
All
with
right, good.
us. Yeah.
The hops is Azaka. The malts are Carabels with flaked corn, corn oats, and corn flakes. I'm kidding, no corn flakes. But look how cool. So and I have another one of theirs that I'll bring on later that I actually haven't had before. And it's got an amazing can as well. But look, isn't that beautiful?
Hell yeah.
Love the label on it.
Oh
Yeah, it's
man.
very pretty.
I was thinking of the metal band when I bought it, but damn, is this cool.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Ghost. That's right. That is right.
So yeah, so everything James said, we're our first one shot river is going to be awesome. We have Sahith S. Tiger is this great writer in India, and we're going to be producing his book this year as well. Actually, I don't. It might debut in January of next year. We got to see what the production schedule looks like. But it's imagine the Indian James Bond.
Okay.
And it's such a cool story, and we're so excited to be able to share it. We've got a couple other people's work that we're producing. Appropriate for your show, things are hopping,
There we go.
and we're making it happen. And I can't tell you how glad I am to be on with you and Lauren again. Lauren, thank you so much. Matt, thank you.
Yeah,
Of course.
And you guys, you've been awesome. I mean, you took a look at the ramblings of a first-time comic book writer and have really helped guide me and shape me. And so I'm hoping my goal is I can get that squared away and start work on the next piece by the end of the summer. Really, that's my goal, and you've been a big help. So love.
I
getting
was
to
so
hang out.
honored that you read Of Clouds and Ether and said such great things about it. And getting to read your script and see that you're a comic booker, you're an indie comic guy. It was so much fun. It was such an original concept. We are both college professors, and I edit for a living. James does editing on art for a living. And every now and again you get a project. So if you come to Fugitive Poems, we'll edit your stuff. It was such an honor to get to read something so cool and wild and alcohol focused, which works for me.
Shocking.
What if superpowers came from beer, but weren't permanent? Is essentially the gist of what's going on. So, man, it was something I've been sitting on. I've been working on this forever, and I
What's
am
truer of alcohol? That you get a superpower that's not permanent, or at
Sure,
least
yeah, it
everybody
makes you
thinks
feel
they're
like you got 'em,
superhumans.
that's for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm a golden god.
Yes. So, I really appreciate that. And yeah, we're here to talk another guy who might as well have superpower. Man, the power of swoon that Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones has over everybody, like this is a handsome
But
man.
I don't know what it is with like George Lucas female characters hating Harrison Ford and wanting to have sex with him at the same time. What is that about? What kind
That's
of
fair.
turmoil?
Yes.
I mean, maybe that's why he was going through a divorce during the second movie or right in between one and two.
It might be because he hooked up with Leia on Star
I
Wars.
was gonna say, like, I would have gone through the
Oh.
same thing if I was co-starring with Princess Leia herself. But I'm sorry, babe. I love you. But
Well, Willie ended up marrying Steven Spielberg. I learned that while I was
Oh.
researching fun facts.
yeah,
And
That's
their
how she got the
daughter
technique.
is in the 2008 one.
I
All right,
just-
so yeah,
let's dive into
get
this. So we're
into
gonna
it.
start with the first one, although chronologically it's not necessarily the first one, but the first one released in 1981. It is Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. It is written by Lawrence Kasdan, George Lucas, Philip Kaufman, and it was directed by Steven Spielberg. Stars Harrison Ford as none other than Henry Jones Jr., aka Indy. Karen Allen as Marion. Paul
Call him
Freeman as
Dr.
Belloc.
Jones.
Yes, Dr. Jones. And the plot in 1936, archaeologist and adventurer Indiana Jones is hired by the U.S. government to find the Ark of the Covenant before the Nazis can obtain its awesome powers. Lauren, hit us with the fun facts, and then let's kind of dissect and talk about this film.
So how they got the name Indiana Jones was actually George Lucas's dog was some Alaskan Malamute dog, and it was named Indiana. And in honor of the dog, they took the inspiration from the 1966 Steve McQueen movie called Nevada Smith. Lucas wanted to name the character Indiana Smith. Spielberg cited this was a little bit too close to the McQueen film, so let's change it up a bit, but let's keep the last name generic, and that's how you got Indiana Jones. We learned in the third one, Indiana was actually the dog's name, so I have to imagine that this was a nod to that.
We named the dog Indiana.
That was so
that was
funny.
Good. Wow.
I did not remember that at all. And I was like, really? Wow. Because I hadn't watched these since I was a kid. So Tom Selleck was cast to play Indiana.
Could you have imagined the mustache that Indiana Jones would have had?
Oh, there's video. You can go out there. They're screen testing.
Oh, yeah.
So Tom Selleck, he was going to do it. They didn't want to cast Harrison because Lucas didn't want like Harrison Ford to be like his go-to dude in all his movies. But the Magnum PI schedule was just too demanding and they had to go with Harrison. The studio also didn't.
Tom Selleck. I love Tom Selleck.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, me too. But I could not have
thank God. Right? I mean, can you imagine anyone else as Indiana Jones? It would have been an entirely different vibe.
Yeah. No, I think Tom Selleck, and I think Three Men and a Baby. That's where my head always goes.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. And then just that immaculate mustache again. Like I can't.
Magnum PI.
Yeah, it's Magnum PI for me.
And Mr. Baseball.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
God, I haven't seen that in forever.
All right, who wants a mustache ride? Mr. Baseball.
So I think of Friends too, because he creepily dated Monica, which I didn't think was creepy when I was little, and now I do. All right. So they also did not want Spielberg to direct because at the time he was known for going over budget. After this movie, though, he kind of, got the reputation of not being so over budget. This one's really funny. I actually watched an interview with Alfred Molina. So Spielberg wanted tarantulas everywhere, all over Alfred Molina's body. But at first they weren't moving. And the animal consultant on set was like, well, they're going to be chill unless you put a female spider on them. So then Spielberg is like, well, put the female spider on him. And as soon as they did, all the spiders went crazy all over him. And Spielberg yelled to like, Molina, act scared. We only have one take. And he goes, I am scared. Or he's like, I don't need to act.
God, yeah. Could you imagine? No, thank you. That's some fear factor stuff. Like, and he doesn't even have a big part in this movie. He's literally in the movie for like 3 minutes.
So there was
throw me the idol. Throw me the idol. I'll throw you the whip. Throw me the idol.
Don't ever fall for that.
Then he just dips.
There's a good possibility that there was spider sex in Indiana Jones. I don't know.
That's true. Spider porn. Is this the
Spider
Across the
sex on
Spider-Verse we
somebody's
did?
back.
What Spider-Man universe was this?
Oh God, I didn't even think of that correlation. That's Doc Ock. Oh man.
Oh, that's
So
why he went after Peter and Spider-Man.
yeah, he
It
had
all
some
makes sense
vengeance
now.
against spiders, huh? So the producers had to run around all of London searching pet shops to get snakes, and Spielberg was like, "This still isn't enough snakes," and so they had to cut up rubber hoses as well. Marion's stunt double didn't want to stand among the snakes, and there's a scene where they zoom in on her feet, so the snake handler shaved his legs.
That's hilarious.
And my last fun fact is the scene, which honestly, this was one of my favorite scenes from the first movie where the guy's doing the fancy sword thing.
Oh, yes.
And then Indy just shoots him because, for one, would he bring a sword to a gunfight? And also, I felt like it was a nod to Harrison or to Han Solo because there's all these. This is all made up in my head. There's all these lightsabers and he's got a blaster, but really Harrison Ford wasn't feeling great because of all the heat. And so he didn't want to do this full out scene with the sword guy. And he goes, what if I just shoot him? And they didn't love it, but it tested great amongst the audience.
I mean, it makes
He
no
had
sense.
dysentery for that scene. I thought that's why.
Yeah, he was
Well-
wicked sick.
Yeah.
I thought he had dysentery.
I didn't know it was that. They just said he didn't feel good because of the heat. Oh, that's worse.
It was just, he was afraid he was going to crap his pants. Did you ever see the Humphrey Bogart movie, The African Queen?
No, but the boat was in Key Largo forever and it got ruined by a hurricane.
It's a great, great movie. So everyone on that set got dysentery except Humphrey Bogart. And when they asked Humphrey Bogart, who was a god, when they asked Humphrey Bogart why he didn't get dysentery, he said, because I don't drink water, I only drink whiskey.
Oh my gosh.
It's funny being in the Middle East because I've deployed there a couple of times, and they tell you straight at the bat, like, do not drink the water. You will be shitting your guts out for like a week. And so instead they leave crates of water in the sun in 134. It doesn't make sense, but I'd rather drink hot water than
See, the article I read said everyone didn't feel good because of the heat. They did not specify that. I got the edited version.
It's Indiana Jones in the pants full of shit.
The beginning, you only see the pilot Jock for like a second, which I found interesting rewatching them because there's actually a bar at Disney Springs, which is downtown Disney in Orlando, called Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar. So if you're an Indiana Jones fan, you're ever in Orlando, definitely head over there. Super cool. They have stuff all over the entire bar.
Start the plane, Jock.
And when he said that, I was like, oh yeah, that's the bar here. And then that was it. And we never saw him again. But he's got his own bar at Disney, so good for him.
Good
well, it's like Wedge Antilles in the Star Wars movies. There's a whole history in Lucas's head of friendship, and you don't necessarily get to see it all.
Well, he's big in the Aftermath books, though.
God bless.
He just finished book 2, and yeah, he's in that.
Yes, he is. I didn't want to get that nerdy. I love you, Lauren. Yes, he's huge in those books.
You're welcome, Lauren.
Oh, you just made my day, Lauren.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. So I want to know from you guys. I need to know, like, when did you guys first watch these movies, and like, what were some things that really stuck out to you? What drew you to the Indiana Jones films? James, we'll start with you.
All right. So first, I got a personal story that has to do with that scene where he flies on the rope swing out to the plane. That is actually film. A lot of the stuff is filmed on the. It's called the Kipu Ranch in Kauai, where I went for my honeymoon.
I've been there too.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Did you swing from the rope?
I didn't, but I saw where they filmed Jurassic Park and Pearl Harbor, all that stuff. Yeah.
So if you go on the quad tour, there when I went, it was two young, real Hawaiian kids who were locals, and they were very proud of their entire island. So it was really cool. They kept stopping and showing us all this stuff. But they took me down into the woods, and they have I doubt it's the same rope from like 1979, but it's the same tree that he swung off of, and they got a rope swing there. So I was able to swing on the rope and jump down into the water. So
that's so really rad.
That was the one of the coolest parts of the tour for me. So I am old enough to have seen Indiana Jones in the theater. So I saw it in 81.
What was that like?
And so long ago. I was all of 10, 11 years old. One of my first movies that I remember was Star Wars in 77. I was like 6. So I mean it was awesome, but back in the day, especially it was the first one, we didn't really know who was who. I knew that he was Han Solo, and I wanted to go see it, so my mother took him to it.
That's incredible. It's about the age I'm showing my son now the Indiana Jones Star Wars films too, funny enough. And I think that's also the age I was watching these on TV one day, just like drew right into it.
Probably seen the first one at least 20 times. It's a great movie.
Oh, absolutely. And rewatching it, there's so many moments that jumped out that I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't watched it in a while. I forgot this happened and then this happened. And honestly, Marion is probably my favorite girl that kind of, I don't want to call her a sidekick. I really know, because the third
girl.
the
Jones girl, like a Bond girl.
The Jones girl. Yes, she's my favorite one because
I love her.
Kind
I
of
like
holds
her
her
in,
own.
yeah, she's fantastic. And she's also in Scrooged. I like her in
like
Scrooged.
our first introduction to Marion. She's drinking in a competition and she drinks the other person at the bar. Yeah.
She's like hustling them and drinking.
For $5,000, which back then was a lot more today.
Yeah, she sends I think the Uzbeki guy right under the table.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think, seeing that too, I'm like, okay, George Lucas creates these female characters that are badass and are take no shit. And I really liked that until we met Willie, and then I fucking hated her. But
I love Willie because it was a change of pace, and human beings aren't always the same. And she's the weakest link. And that you run into that sometimes, so I didn't mind that because he does usually do kick-ass female heroines. So I didn't mind one that wasn't, because in reality, not everyone is everything, right? And
no, 100%. Yeah. I just
then having to deal with her. But here's the real reason I love her, and this is pathetic. I would be her. If I was in the Temple of Doom scenario, if I had to walk through, it sounds like fortune cookies, and you look down and it's not.
It's all the bugs. Oh,
I mean, honestly, we probably all would. She took a Valium for that scene.
1,000% Willie. 100. Yeah, no, not even a question.
No, I think you're right, but I think just the fact that she was the weakest link and she was like the only girl, that's what I didn't like. But yeah, you can't have the same exact sidekick character in every single movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I love the scene where they're at the camp out and Jones is talking to Short Round. She's like running through the woods screaming.
Yeah.
Has all this.
And they just keep talking. Yeah. Matt, since we're jumping ahead now to Temple of Doom 1984, you want to go ahead and give us the summary? And
hold on. We'll get there in a second. I want to know when Christian first saw Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, because we'll talk a little bit, because in this movie Indiana actually met his equal. His equal was just working for the Nazis. And also, if you remove Indiana Jones from this movie, nothing changes. The bad guys still lose.
That's my favorite fan theory on the movie that is unfortunately correct. But Belloc, I think, is one of the most underrated villains, and he's a great villain because he's strictly there's no snap my fingers in half, the universe dies. There's no real arch villainy. This motherfucker just doesn't want to be left in the dust. He wants to profit. That's all it is.
And they both love archaeology.
Yeah, and they're the most practical arch villain. I cannot remember the first time I saw this movie. It feels like I was born with this movie in my veins. Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark is essential, but I'm gonna take a minute and I hope you'll forgive me. My one of my brothers, non-blood brothers, one of my favorite people in the world, died 2 weeks ago. Michael Flanagan.
I did see that, man. I'm so sorry.
He's in Containment Breach. Thank you, man. He's in Containment Breach Volume 4. I've known him since the first day of college, 1995. And Raiders of the Lost Ark was his all-time favorite movie. And this was a man of taste. And he knew a damn good movie when he saw it. And watching it, I love that movie my whole life. Watching it with Mike made me love it even more. It is adventure in its purest form. It is good guys versus bad guys in its most badass form, because Indy's no goody two shoes, but he's not fucking with no Nazis. Yeah. And that movie to me, I mean, listen, his buddy is one of my favorite characters in the world. The scene where they go through the wall and now he's surrounded by all of it is pure adventure. That moment with the staff, there's drama that's unbelievable. So I can't remember, and I tell you, the one of the most important people in my life that showed me this movie was my father, Joseph de Matteo, who knew badassery when he saw it, and there was no way I wasn't going to watch it. And Indy climbing under the car, under the truck, the Nazi truck,
Oh yes.
and then fighting his way to kick that guy and fighting while they're driving, which I shouldn't tell the story, and I won't, but my father actually did in the 70s, having to get somebody out of a car who was driving. Not going to tell the rest of that story, but my father actually did that in Indiana Jones.
Dang. I think that's what I love so much about these movies is they just feel like fun, feel good adventure. You have everything's clear cut. Like Harrison Ford is a professor. This belongs in a museum. You got the Nazis. Nazis they're bad guys. Like we are never rooting for these
Right.
guys.
I think, yeah, we all agree on that.
They take us on fun, really cool places. Like they also play into some real world that, if you believe in religion, whatever it may be. And then also the things that I love most is there's two things I love in this world. It is Dunkin' Donuts and it is watching Harrison Ford run anywhere, because something about it just looks so human. Because when you watch these modern day action movies, whatever it may be, the way they run, it's like, wow, they're like track stars. Harrison Ford running away to get to the plane looked like something I would do, slow as all can be. And he's just like like it's just something about it looks so pure and human. And I just love watching Harrison Ford's surprised face and running away from a scene, because it happens in like every movie. Go ahead and watch any Harrison Ford scene. It's amazing. And I love it.
He's Superman as the everyman.
Yeah, just like the old school, like,
I like that. Yeah, because he's hurt at the end of every movie too, which is not, they don't usually do that. Like he's genuinely in pain and exhausted. Like what was the one movie with the third one with his dad, where he's like climbing back up the thing and he's just done, and they're like, we got to keep going. What's wrong with you? He's like, I'm so tired.
And yeah,
it's
even
very
in
real.
that fight, outside the plane where he was getting rocked by the big, of course, there's always a big guy, right, to fight. And luckily the plane takes his head off. And it's like, he's getting his ass kicked, man. But he's smart.
He's so relieved when the engine's by the dude.
Yes,
it's just like
he looks, he's just
thank
like,
God moment.
Absolutely. And it's just so much fun, man. Like those
are the noir hero. If you go back to the 20s and 30s, the noir hero, because he's doing the right thing, always gets the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
And Luke in touch with that. And yeah, I mean, Harrison Ford always gets the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
Because that's relatable. What you get trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So what did you guys think rewatching this movie now? Because obviously when we were kids watching this is like high intense action and it looks really good, and a lot of it's practical effects mixed with miniatures. So what did you think rewatching it today?
It holds up to me, honestly. I think it, like, of course, some of the punches Harrison Ford does are like kind of like wonky, but to me, I think it holds up.
I can't watch it not as an 8-year-old boy.
Okay, so you still see it through those eyes. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
In fairness, men are never more than 12 years old, no matter what age we are.
Absolutely true.
But I was in a meeting today, and one of the people at the meeting actually had the audacity to say, well, it's our duty, and I laughed.
As soon as you said I was in a meeting, I knew duty was going to come up. I knew that was going to be it. She said duty.
Horror. She looked at me in horror. She's like, I know you're almost 50. Did you really do duty?
Yes.
But I can't watch Indiana Jones, not as an 8-year-old. I mean, he's a god. He's
right.
He's fucking Indiana Jones.
I thought it was interesting. Like my husband brought it up and I was like, you are spot on. We're watching it and he goes, I feel like I'm at Universal Studios doing like a backlot tour. And I felt like that was so spot on, because when we were kids and went to theme parks for that, like they were showing us the practical effects they did for movies like Indiana Jones. And it was really like, you see the thing like blow up this way when, up when the gun's shooting across. And that's not necessarily accurate, but that's what they had to do. So I thought it was kind of cool. Like, I'm like, he nailed it, I thought. So I was wondering if you guys picked that up, but no, I get you're watching through the nostalgia eyes of an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Nostalgic.
I think I think the effects really stand up. If you think about the time that came out, 1981,
Yeah.
look at comparison films and some of the cheese and the comparison films that came out at the time. I mean, it's still top dog. And yeah, I really like particularly model movies where you're looking at uh, incredibly realistic stuff. Like if you look at Blade Runner, there's some amazing stuff in there. You know, their Harrison Ford movie, and it's all models and miniatures and so forth.
Oh
And
yeah.
they, you know, I think there's something to be said for you have to make it work, and you got to figure out how to do it. Whereas with the CG stuff, you know, the sky is the limit. You can do anything, but you know, you can still see when it's a CG thing, and you know, you can tell. You know, another cool thing about Harrison Ford is he does his own stunts and stuff too. So
Yes.
you're seeing that reality. I think that's one of the really cool things about Tom Cruise too with his with that Maverick movie. I think the most impactful scenes were when he's in that jet and you can see the G forces on his face and he's getting whipped around. You know, you can't CG that.
Mission Impossible. He's about to ride a motorcycle off a mountain. That
Yeah.
was day one
The
filming
outside of a
too.
fucking plane.
Like
You know,
I have a real respect for that kind of stuff. Like the pure. I'm old school, so that's why I love it too.
Well,
yeah,
sometimes they have to fight for that too. Harrison Ford had to fight for it in the last one to
Gotta
do his
Yeah.
own
protect your
stunts.
investment, man.
Yeah.
I think when you see the spectacle, you know, of someone really doing that, you know, even like Jackie Chan, not the greatest actor in the world, but to see all that stuff that he can do in front of the camera, it's just, it's amazing.
Jackie Chan gets nothing but props from me.
They
When that
need to-
motherfucker jumps through a ladder rung, he jumps through a ladder rung.
Oh yeah.
He's
Yeah, amazing.
bleeding all over the place.
Yeah.
When he goes through glass, he goes through glass.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably why Tom Holland's my favorite Spider-Man, because he's really doing the flips and stuff
He's
too.
a gymnast. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a gymnast
Let's,
and a dancer. And Spidey, yeah, that's what Spidey is. Okay.
Let's roll into Temple of Doom. So this movie coming out in 1984, however, it takes place in 1935, where Indiana Jones is tasked by Indian villagers with reclaiming a rock stolen from them by a secret cult beneath the catacombs of an ancient palace. This film, once again, Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford. Kate Capshaw is Willie Scott. Ki Hui Kwan, everybody's favorite short round, who is making, I'm so here for his comeback. It is unbelievable. He is so pure. Seeing those two on the red carpet, my God,
Oh my God, they're
boy.
adorable.
Amazing.
Yeah, and Dan Aykroyd makes an appearance in this even because we got another cameo and a really quick callback. Fun scene is they try to do the three guys show up with swords and he tries to pull out his gun again. However, he doesn't have a gun, and I'm like, thank God they didn't repeat just because they hit on the first time, because that makes me love that.
He can't
sequence.
always shoot first.
Exactly.
But the Temple of Doom takes place before Raiders.
That's true. So
That's
he
what I-
learned.
that's true. He
learned,
learned
huh?
from his mistakes.
Exactly. So the gag is not that it didn't work the second
Yes.
time. It's that he learned to keep his gun armed.
It is, yes. And it's this one again, directed by Steven Spielberg. However, the writers this time, Willard Huyck, Gloria Katz, and George Lucas. So we have a couple different writers, but you're right.
For a reason, though.
Yes. Well, Lauren, take us away with your fun facts before we kind of dive into what we're loving. Because my 7-year-old, he was watching this. This man was scared. I was like, bro, what?
Yeah.
But to a 7-year-old, he was scared. Yes, it's a lot darker than the other 3 Indiana Jones.
So my first fun fact is what I text you and you thought it said Oblivion Bar. It says Club Obi-Wan, and one of the earliest scenes are running away and you can actually
That
see.
got real awkward. I was drinking that night, playing video games. Carrie was mad at me.
It's the Oblivion.
Yes. So like my wife.
Well, he tagged a podcast. It's called Oblivion
So we're
Bar.
friends with a podcast called Oblivion Bar, Chris and Aaron. And that night my wife was mad at me for, I don't even know what now. It's stupid, but she went to bed. So I was like, I'm gonna video game and drink. And so I'm video gaming and drinking. And Lauren sends me this 2D picture from her 1994 TV screen. I was like, oh, that says Oblivion Bar. It didn't. It said Club Obi-Wan. Yeah.
So
And
it's like the oldest TV in the house is in our bedroom, and I was literally laying in bed and I like zoomed in as much as I could. I paused it, zoomed in as much as I could, took a picture and sent it to you. And you're like, wow. And you ran with it. So this movie is much darker than the first. Lucas and Spielberg were actually saying that this was because they were going through a divorce at the time. However, I don't think they realized it while it was happening. It was kind of like in hindsight, we weren't in the best place, and this is what we created. The
I
original
didn't realize they both
screenwriter.
were going through a divorce. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you put your job before your wife enough, even if you're making kick-ass movies. I don't
Is
know.
it movies before hoes or what is that?
Yeah,
Movies
that is
before-
actually the phrase. Yes.
movies before hoes. Yes, I mean it worked out well for both of them, I think. But yeah,
Before, no, I'm not going to do it.
the original screenwriter was like, yeah, this is too much for me. Ki Hugh Kwan's mother actually brought his older brother to a casting call. It was an open casting call at an elementary school. And so he was not auditioning, but he was giving his big brother tips on what he should do for the audition. And the producers saw that. So they asked him to do a tape and they loved it. And the next thing you know, this kid's like playing cards with Harrison Ford. And he said part of what helped him do all that was he wasn't nervous because he didn't know who anybody was. He hadn't seen Star Wars. He hadn't seen Indiana Jones. He was just a kid playing with some adults. After the movie, Spielberg later screened some of his movies with the kid, like was like, hey, let's come watch my movie so you can actually see I'm kind of a big deal. Many scenes were supposed to be shot in India, but the local government was like, yeah, you're not doing that because we find this to be offensive to the Indian culture. Some deals were made and things were changed. And after its release of Temple of the Doom, there was a period of time it was actually banned in India.
Wow.
And I said this one before. Willie actually had to take a Valium before shooting the bug scene. And I mean,
Could be taking way more than that. Shrooms,
can't blame
probably.
her. Like Christian said, we probably would all actually be the Willie character, but we like to think we wouldn't
I
be.
would have made Willie look like a lumberjack man.
Oh man. Well, speaking of
Even
what
like Jonah Hill.
Yes, dude. I don't like bugs, man. It's like a texture thing a lot of the time, like snakes. My dad has a lot of snakes and bugs.
I like snakes.
I don't like bugs. It's a texture thing. The way they feel when they
Nobody
touch
likes
you,
bugs.
it's weird. And snakes are slimy. Weird. I don't like none of that.
Snakes aren't slimy. They're smooth. They're not slimy at all.
Slimy.
Dolphins are slimy.
I don't like the texture.
Psychologically slimy.
Snakes. It's always
Never say nobody likes bugs. I like bugs.
Well, see, James likes
Okay.
bugs. Snakes. I
My
don't know
kids
the
have this
snakes.
rubber cockroach they keep hiding around the house to try to scare me. Like I found it like on this shelf yesterday.
Listen, I had
Have
a
you ever
mouse.
seen a hissing cockroach?
Yeah, actually.
I had one of those when I was a kid.
No, see,
a hissing
we don't need to do
cockroach?
this.
Yeah, they're from Madagascar. They're about this big.
Yeah.
Well, the
I
big
was-
ones don't scare me. It's the little ones you got to look out for because they'll infest your house real quick.
No, fuck all that. I don't care if
The
they're
big
big. I don't
ones,
care
if
they're
they
small.
fly.
I don't care
I
what
was
it is.
I was
was
watching
l-
Walking Dead once, and there's a giant bug on one of the characters' face, and then it flew off my TV.
Nope. Why? I would have died.
It was a palmetto bug.
What interesting symbolism. Oh,
Wow, when did we get a 3D
It's
TV?
pretty real. Oh, I went to Go Ahead one time when I was living in Florida to vacuum up one of those palmetto bugs, they call them. No, they're big ass flying
That's what it
cockroaches.
was. It was a palmetto
I did
bug.
not know that those things flew at the time. So imagine my surprise when 6'4" me stands up there like, yeah,
Screaming.
I got this. And my wife's watching me and it flies. And I go, I swear to God, I flew. I was Superman on the day in the sense that I flew the other direction that thing flew and I screamed and it was not fun. And no. Shoot, just the other day I was sitting there and a mouse came out. Like it's been cold here. So a mouse got into my house. I was sitting there enjoying my smoothie and a mouse pops out and I jump up on the couch and I called my wife right away. I was like, I'm going to say this as calm as possible. We got a mouse. I'm not ready for this. So I would have, yeah, Willie would have been goddamn Dwayne Johnson taking on a submarine with his bare arms in Fast and Furious compared to what I would have brought to the table.
dude, have you ever done the fake manly thing where you got to impress someone or maybe your wife and you're like, she's like, there's a bug. You're like, I've got it, baby. And you go in and you grab it and you get rid of it. And then you got to go to the bathroom and you go in the bathroom. You're like, oh!
Yeah, the kids all the
Just to
time.
get
Like,
it out,
it's,
I've done that.
you're just home with the kids. Like, there's a spider in my room. I'm like, so get it. They're like, no, I can't. I'm like, oh shit. All right, I got this. Be cool.
I'm
man.
a man. I can do this.
Be cool. And you go and see it, and it like jumps, and you're like, ah. And you're like, no, I'm sorry. I'm good. I'm good.
It's normal for a man to poop himself a little. I swear, kids.
Gotta go shower, kids. Speaking of scary stuff, though, Temple of Doom definitely takes a turn for the spooky. I want to hear from you guys. James, we'll kick it off with you again. Man, what do you remember about this film? What do you love about it? And we'll go from there.
I always love the epic film that takes you through so many different uh, time zones and flights. I think this is the one where they literally show the plane flying over the map through all the different things.
Yes, they do.
I love those kind of epic films. I think one of my favorite scenes is where he meets Short Round for the first time, and they're all in
In the
the sort
car.
of whiskey bar or whatever it is,
Club
and
Obi-Wan.
Willie's singing in there, and they all kind of jump out the window and go down through and end up in the rickshaw.
No time for love, Dr. Jones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the best with the quips, and he's the bravest one of them all too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
the one that saved everybody in this entire movie. He knocked
Yeah.
Indy out of the trance.
He's down for whatever. Yes.
Yeah, great character. Um, I think that one, and then this scene where they're fixing to sacrifice Willie is a great scene as well, where you figure out that the bad guy is a priest of Kali Ma, I believe, which is
Yes.
yeah,
Yep.
And they're
it's
chanting
actually
like Kalima.
a real Indian evil
Mhm.
spirit, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
They took that from real scripture or whatever, which was kind of cool. That is a creepy scene where he's doing that Kali Ma, and he's got that maniacal face on and the headdress and stuff.
Yes.
And he goes down and supposedly rips her heart out and turns her over, and that's just harrowing. And starts sending her down into the lava. Great scene.
Yes.
That's honestly the scene I remember the most from my childhood. Like that particular thing of all, when I think Indiana Jones, like outside of the giant ball, which I feel like that's more like remembering Disney, is that scene
Yeah.
with all that crazy stuff with the heart and the pit and those, yeah, and the chanting.
Well, like when they're taking the heart out and stuff, like as a kid, you were like, oh my God, this isn't Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
Well, this is before Ace. We didn't know Ace Ventura.
I know. Well, to me at the time, like when I'm first watching this, Ace Ventura was out and he took a guy's heart and put it in a bag.
I like that we're going through the generations. Like
Thanks
you
to
guys born
Indy.
in the 70s, I was born in the 80s, Matt was born in the 90s. So we're going
Is
through
that
the different
right?
experiences.
I was born in 1990.
I was,
Yeah, October of 1990. Yep.
I'm 83.
77.
71.
See,
There
look
you go.
at
You
that.
got the first Star Wars movie. I got the Return of the Jedi's.
Yeah, well, I
83.
got the prequels. So.
Yep.
You poor thing.
No, I love Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars.
Oh, I can't. We'll do a different show.
Well,
About that.
that's a different episode. Christian, let's get your thoughts on the Temple of Doom.
So, Temple of Doom has a shit ton of hate directed at it. A lot of people think until Crystal Skull that was the
Oh, man.
worst Indiana Jones movie. And I happen to fucking love the Temple of Doom. Short Round is a great character. We open
yeah.
up with a great song from Guys and Dolls in Chinese, which she rocked. And then the gong comes down and they run with it, rolling to dodge the bullets. It's exciting from the get. They jump out the window, they get in, and Short Round's got the boxes. And I'm a Goonies fan, so I love Short Round. And I think he got the boxes on his shoes and they drive. And then we jump out the plane in the the lifeboat.
Oh yeah.
And then they find out about the village and the stones, and they take the elephants, and then they go to that dinner. I don't know if here's a fun fact. That movie fucked up Indian restaurants for 5 or 6 years. People wouldn't go to Indian restaurants for 5 or 6 years. It fucked up the.
Oh my gosh, I thought they were going to
eating
eat
how
like
the
monkey
bugs-
brain.
yeah.
They were going to cut open the snake and there'd be fucking snakes coming out.
Oh, and Indian food is so good.
I love Indian food. No one makes chicken more tender than the Indian people.
Oh my god, it's so, and just dipping it in the freaking. Oh my god! So
Well,
we were watching
naan,
Black Mirror the
oh.
other day, and there's like an Indian guy, and she's complaining about his cooking, and my husband and I are both like, "What? Indian food is the best."
I love Indian food. Chicken
Yeah.
tikka, and then the goat, the way they handle lamb. Well, everyone thought it was, and I remember
That's
watching
sad.
that as a kid, monkey brain, right?
For dessert too.
The guy sipping the beetle out like oysters and stuff. Like, oh,
He steals
So
her an
that movie
apple, and
did
he's
that.
the knight in shining armor.
yes.
Yeah, I love Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and I'll tell you that, and this is This is messed up for a lot of people who don't think it's a good movie. I love Raiders of the Lost Ark. I love The Last Crusade. But my iconic Indiana Jones movie moment is when he is in the mines and the kid's getting whipped.
Oh
And
yeah.
all of a sudden, he whips the guy whipping the kid, and the camera turns around, and there's fucking Indy with the light behind him.
Ba-ba-dum-bum.
It's Indy.
Yes.
That's Indy. And then people are going to the Temple of Doom sucks. I'm like, the ultimate Indiana Jones. If I was writing a comic and I came up with that frame, if James drew that frame, if James came up with that frame, there's the character in one frame.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's it.
Oh yeah.
I love it. I absolutely, so much so that when they copied that image for the Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull poster. And that
That's
bothered
right.
me. That bothered me because they got the skull behind them glowing, right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's what I
Ah.
do. That's them.
God, I do.
I thought it was interesting though with the music because you started singing. It's like the same thing as Jaws, but the opposite. Like you knew he
Yeah.
was about to do something good, just like you knew something scary was about to happen in Jaws. The second you heard that music,
Indiana Jones theme song is top 5 theme songs that as soon as you hear, I don't care if you've
it's
ever
John
watched.
Williams.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's Jaws,
you hear it and you instantly
E.T.,
know.
Indy, Jurassic Park, and what's the fifth one? Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
There it is.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yes.
dun,
Like
dun.
it's
Yeah.
just
There's only one person's walking out. It ain't Kermit the Frog.
The Imperial March.
Yeah, absolutely. He's our modern Wagner. Hey, by the way, for you guys, I'm having this for the first time. It's a Ghost. I bought it just for the show tonight. Ghost Lady in Red, which is no way I could.
I was about to say Lady in the Red Dress, just thinking like a Census Fail song for anybody who knows what that is. That's hilarious.
Yes. So this is a sour, and I love sours.
Me too, man.
The sour ale with black cherry, strawberry, and vanilla. And I've got to
I'm
tell you,
sold.
look at, I don't know if this is going to come across, but
Oh,
look
I
at
see.
Look
color
at
of
that.
this.
Oh man,
I
that's
love a
juice.
sour with vanilla. It works.
It does.
This, and let me tell you something, first time having is on your show. Delicious.
Nice.
Delicious. And I will always associate it with both of you.
Look at
I love it.
this.
And drinking out of a proper Guinness glass.
It's amazing.
Oh, well, of course. From Ireland. I brought this back from Ireland from Guinness.
Ooh,
Oh,
nice.
lucky.
You can say it's connected to Harrison Ford because he was in a movie with
One day I'm gonna do a
Alec
Comic
Guinness.
Con out there and be able to go. That's my goal.
I had to stop
Oh,
with my
let's do
Star
that.
Wars references. I got pulled back. So,
No, never pull back Star Wars.
any more Temple of the Doom comics before we move into Sean Connery?
Sean Connery. I ever tell you to watch behind your ear?
Yes. Oh man, Sean Connery. So this movie, first of all, I'm still on Allison Duty's IMDb profile. My apologies because she's still a babe to this day. So I was looking at what else she was in earlier, but I pulled this up. However, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was out in 1989. It starts in 1938 after his father goes missing while pursuing the Holy Grail. Indiana Jones finds himself up against the Nazis again to stop them from attaining its powers. So this time, Allison Duty plays Elsa. Also, fun fact, she is a Bond girl with Pierce Brosnan. And then we have Harrison Ford. Sean Connery is back as Professor Henry Jones. Denolum Elliott is Marcus Brody. John Rhys Davies is back, baby. And yes, that is the movie. It starts, man, I like this movie. It starts with young Indiana Jones on the train, and we see the origin of the whip.
River
Yep, River Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Yeah, Jaquan Phoenix's older brother. So
River
this is
Phoenix.
not a fun fact, a sad fact, but he died on Halloween 1993 at the age of 23 of a drug overdose. Sean Connery, who plays the father, he actually also died on Halloween, but 27 years later. So he died in the year 2020.
All right, this is terrible. You just broke my heart because I think my brain had forgotten that Sean Connery died.
I honest to God did too. When I was watching this movie, I was like, "Oh fuck, he's dead."
You broke me anew.
Yes.
When we watched the 2008 one, I'm like, Sean Connery's still alive, and he was definitely still alive in 2008. But no, he did die a few years ago.
Um,
But I'm also doing the math. Like Harrison Ford's 80, so the idea
Don't.
of
We're not going down.
yeah.
Don't you
But for
dare.
his father in the movie to still be alive, like, I mean, if anyone was going to do it, it'd be Sean Connery. So this movie was an apology for making Temple of the Doom, for it being so dark. They're like, here's a lighthearted story about a guy and his dad and a bunch of Nazis. Yeah.
Nothing says father-son
There
bonding
was
time like Nazis.
there was concern about people get confused with Monty Python. I personally, as soon as you're watching it, you're like, they intentionally did not call it Indiana Jones and the Holy Grail because of the Monty Python. And there's a scene with Connery and Ford where they're sitting at a table and it was really hot. So they actually have no pants on. And it was Connery's idea. It was like the original Zoom meeting.
That's bonding right there.
So the production team had to breed its own gray rats for the scene because there was thousands of them. And in order for them to have enough rodents that were disease free, they had to breed their own.
Oh, wow.
The rapid so when the Julian Glover's villain character, when he basically chose wrong, that technology, that digital composite shot, it was like goes down in Hollywood history because it was filmed in several separate stages of the speeding up aging process, and then it was digitally melded together along with shots of puppet heads, and then it had to be translated back to film as one cohesive take. So that like goes back and like oh shit, this is the first time we actually did this kind
That's
of
real old school. Yeah.
Hollywood thing. Yeah, those are my fun facts.
You ever see one of my favorite movies of all time, The Time Machine, directed by
Oh yeah.
I love that. There's the scene where the Morlock is in the cave as he's fast forwarding toward the end, and you watch it fall apart.
Yeah.
Right. And that always makes me think of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh yeah, where they all faces just melt. Yeah.
That
Right,
is
where the
such a-
faces melt, right? But what they did in in Last Crusade is a different thing with that stop motion, with the pausing, that is unbelievable. The aging process, not just skin melting off, it's going through time. It's incredible.
Yeah, he totally just decomposed right there.
Well, they
Yep.
I had that
Yeah.
earlier version in the Lost Ark when the Nazi gets his
Yep,
face
that
melts when they
weasel
open
looking
Yeah.
dude.
they open the Ark. That at the time that was cutting edge. That was pretty wild.
Yeah. I love seeing Alfred Molina though, and knowing like, oh, that's clearly not him. And like he said in interviews, he had to do a body cast, but it's just because now I feel like they would just use the actor and just make it look like
Yeah.
he had all that stuff in him rather than doing the opposite.
You know what sucks is that we had to go through a rough stage with that on one of the greatest movies ever in the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Hey,
If you watch that, like Gollum was so incredible, but that's like the adolescence of that technology.
Yeah, it is.
You know, you watch it now and it's awkward and covered in pimples, and you're like, but this was so good.
It was.
And that was Spider-Man 1. Some of the scenes where he's jumping over buildings, it looks like a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Stupid Flash.
Well, him and Defoe
thinking
on
that
the
too.
roof looks like two GI Joes fighting, where they're all stiff and in costume.
Yeah. Dude, the one thing I can't get over about The Last Crusade is the fact that him and his dad are Eskimo brothers with a Nazi. Like,
Wiener cousins, yeah.
oh my god. Like he's like, I would never be that stupid. And then it's like he looks at Indy and there's just like, yeah, same. Except for he like, oh my god, it's
Yeah,
hilarious.
nobody should bond with their parent over sleeping with the same person.
It's just hilarious. And then oh my god, it's just
Well, according to the internet, that's pretty prevalent.
yeah.
Ugh.
What
I
are you
mean,
doing, stepbrother?
There's kinks for everyone, everything.
I will say, like, Sean Connery looked at the same age in this movie that he looked pretty much until the day he died. I feel like I always remember Sean Connery at the same exact age.
That's like Steve
No,
Martin.
watch-
He's been old for 50 years.
Yeah.
And he just looks the same.
That's the beauty of going gray early.
Well, it's like
No, but he went
see
white,
him-
not gray. White. Believe you see, I got these patches.
I
I'm right
see
behind you.
Sean Connery as James Bond. I'm like, who is that? At first, and then Sean Connery from like this movie up through all the movies he was in till the
The
day he
Rock.
passed away. Yeah, The Rock, and then he's in
Shit
damn
ton.
it, I forgot the movie where he like all the superpower or the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. He looks
Oh.
the same age. Yeah.
You're supposed to forget that movie.
See, I didn't think it got a fair shake, but that's neither here nor
Nope.
there.
Oh no. Have you read the comic?
I haven't really read the comic, so that's probably
It's
why.
a travesty.
That's
The,
why.
the
I haven't
comic
read
is
or
genius.
watched, and now I'm curious.
Nonetheless, like
What?
he looks the
It-
same.
It's the beard, though. Watch
That's
Highlander. Watch the original Highlander.
Oh
with
my god.
Lambert. He might as well be in Last Crusade. That beard just changes age completely.
Highlander wasn't Highlander the 80s, or was that older?
Yes,
It was, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
yeah. So it's the
early
same
It's
age.
exactly the
You
same.
do know there can be more than one Highlander, because Sean Connery
Yeah.
and the other dude were existing just fine. The two of them. That only that one guy thought there could only be one.
It's fair.
Yes,
I will die on this hill.
you're 100% right. There could be only one, so there's two of us.
man.
Let me train you. It doesn't
Right.
make any sense.
No. I'm gonna train my competitor. I don't know. Okay.
I think my
Cut off the head of everyone except me.
yes.
Right.
I think my biggest issue with The Last Crusade is the fact that it feels like it's one day. Like there's not a lot of as much adventuring as the Raiders and Temple. They don't go to as many places. It's like they go to the library, and once they go down there, it's kind of like one continuously long adventure in my brain, and then it just kind of like
I like when Hitler
You
signs
chose?
their book.
yes,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
that was hilarious. Okay, yes,
That's a great scene, the book burning scene.
And relevant today, sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because maybe you should read some books instead of burning them.
I had to explain that to the kids because we were watching this one with the kids. They're 7 and 4, and they're like, why are they burning books? And I was like, oh boy, here we go. And I was like, I have to explain because it's a shame that we're doing the same thing again today, because we don't fucking learn from history ever, because why would we?
Children, do you know about taxes?
Yeah, like it's just
Yes, we teach them taxes at Halloween. You got to give me your Reese's tax.
I always give the
I
kids
said
"You got ice
taxes."
cream?"
Yeah.
That's hilarious, Lauren. You steal all the peanut butter cups too?
Of course.
Well, only the reasonable amount of tax that I feel that I am owed for all the work I put in to make their Halloween so perfect.
2
My kids-
Reese's per mile walked.
My kids used to not like them. Now they like them, so they fight me over 'em.
Oh, that's the worst. I put them in, I'm like, we're going to keep them in the freezer, and then I slowly make them disappear.
Before we move on to everybody's favorite Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, what do you guys want to say about The Last Crusade?
I remember being in the movie theater, and I don't even know what I was going to see. So remember, I was born in 77, so I'm very young. I don't even remember what I was going to see. But there was no fucking internet. There was no way to know anything. When a preview came out, it was God speaking to you, something
Yeah.
you had no idea was happening.
There was no YouTube trailers hitting 1 million
It
views.
was fucking nothing. I didn't know how variety. I had no idea. There was a preview for a new Indiana Jones movie. And I can't tell you what movie I was going to see when that happened, because that movie instantly didn't matter. There was Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And I remember going to the theater, the Hawthorne Multiplex, which is now a fucking Saab dealership.
You're
They
not
still
bitter.
make those cars? What?
They still make they don't make my fucking movie theater, but they make
Oh,
those.
Saw went out of business in 2008.
Maybe
You
it's not
sounded like
Saab.
George Costanza for a second.
It's
Jerry,
probably,
they
it's probably like a
stole the movie
Walmart now. For all we know, it's a Walmart now or some shit.
All I wanted to do was see a movie, Jerry.
That was a great theater, the Hawthorne Theater. I remember driving down there.
And it's gone. And maybe it's not Saab. I don't know what the fuck it is. But when we went to see it that day, they were selling, and I have it somewhere in this house. Lord knows it won't fit me. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade t-shirt. And I got to wear it watching that movie. And that is my first in theater Indiana Jones experience, because I saw Raiders and Temple on video.
Mhm.
My first in theater experience was Last
VCR.
Crusade. And that scene where Indy steals the Luger off one Nazi he killed and goes to shoot another Nazi and shish kebabs them. He shoots 3 of them at once and then looks at the gun.
I always love that Harrison Ford classic look. He's like,
Yes!
he just like,
Yes.
it's a smirk and shrug that does it for me. And it's just like swoon.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
it's funny.
think in my generation, that's a man.
My
I'm
husband
telling
made
you.
the comment. He's like, I remember my mom talking about Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford. Like
I think
I'm
I
telling
was
you
too
right now,
young. He
like
was never on my list. I mean,
no,
he's older than my mom by 20
my
years.
wife likes older men. She likes Dick Van Dyke and like Harrison Ford. So like I don't know,
Very older.
maybe I'll finally be her type
And
when I'm
you're like a few
95.
months younger than her. Huh,
Like,
interesting.
She's gonna be totally into you.
should I be worried? Like when we go by the nursing home?
Just wait till you can't walk anymore. You're gonna be hot as shit.
I just had my second knee surgery. I'm on my way. Maybe that's why she's still married to me. She's like, hell yeah, those knees don't work,
He's
baby.
practically an old man.
What year did this one come out?
This one came out in
89.
1989, a year before, your
Matt
favorite
still was
Matt
not
was
born.
born.
I'm
Not
gonna
even
be
conceived.
the trend killer, the big movie for me that I still
Who was
remember to this day.
Batman?
Yeah, it was Tim Burton's Batman.
Of course it
That made
was.
such an impression on me. I remember the girl I was with in the theater and every scene in that movie from the title catch to the end. I was so taken with that movie.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yeah, and
I mean,
Jack
Michael
Nicholson.
Keaton is the best Bat. Did you see The Flash yet?
No, I haven't. But
Okay.
He
I shouldn't
rocks
call it The Flash. It's the new Michael Keaton Batman movie.
Jack Nicholson in that movie was amazing. Just
So
and talk about standing up to time. I just showed that to my now 16-year-old son because he had seen all the Dark Knight films, and he preferred the old Batman even to the Dark Knight films with all the fancy gear and stuff. He was
Nice.
like, "Wow, this was really good." He loved Jack Nicholson.
That's a big thing because I graduated high school in 2008. I know everybody, blah 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 blah. I love The Dark Knight. That's one of my. That's like I don't know. Say that's my
graduated
favorite
from
movie
law
of.
school that year.
That's my favorite movie of all time is The Dark Knight. Which, rolling into Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, that came out in 2008. I didn't realize that.
Ah, there you go.
It did. However,
So I thought it had come out a few years ago, and my daughter's like, I think it's more than a few years ago. Like because she remembered being little, and I was
2008 was literally
"Holy
last
shit."
year in my brain. So the fact that 2008,
I
was
honestly thought it was
longer
going to be
than
like
that,
2015 that it came out.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's what happens, Lauren. It's just going to keep getting worse and worse.
Fuck.
As you get older.
Fuck.
Like
You
a-
My
sit there
kids
and
are
go,
just
fuck.
going to keep reminding me.
I'm watching all these like anniversaries that people put up on the internet. Like, Rage Against the Machine is now their last album was put out 30 years ago. And you're like, what?
I do. I see like
No, that
a lot
can't
of
be
bands
right.
I loved. Like, here's our 20th anniversary tour, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't know. Look it up. So yeah,
It is.
Battle of Los Angeles was definitely in the 90s.
God, and they've been
Maybe
touring
not 30.
again recently too, like off and on.
Yeah, Christian and I saw them. They were great.
I'm so jealous.
I just
God, I
can't
want
wait
to
to
see
see
that.
it.
My
the
favorite
original
is the
Blink
people who are
next
like,
month.
when did Rage Against the Machine become political? It's like, oh boy, do I got news for you.
Yeah. Have you listened to the song?
It doesn't make sense to me at all. James and I saw Rage recently, last year. But when people are like, they're getting political
I
lately.
used to love your music, but you become political. It's like, whew.
Listen to any of the lyrics from the first album.
Let's take a walk through time, shall we?
All right, shall we go
But
to
yes,
2008?
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, set in 1957. It's the height of the Cold War. Famous archaeologist Indiana Jones, returning from his latest adventure, finds out his job at Marshall College is in jeopardy. He meets Mutt, who is played by Shia LaBeouf, a young man who wants Indy to help him find the legendary crystal skull of Akator. And the pair set out for Peru. However, deadly agent Irina Spalko, played by Kate Blanchett, is searching for the powerful artifact too because the Soviets believe it can help them conquer the world. Yes, the Soviets are the bad guys in this one. I'll hit you with some fun facts on this one. India was going to be fighting a resurgence of Nazis, but Steven Spielberg felt as though he couldn't treat the Nazis in a light manner after his work on the Holocaust drama Schindler's List. As a workaround, George Lucas suggested that the more period-accurate Soviet Union be the enemy. Very good choice. Spielberg and Willie, who was from the Temple of Doom, real life's daughter, is the girl who punched Shia LaBeouf in the diner. She married Spielberg in 1991 after Temple of Doom. Mutt Williams is a nod to John Williams, who did the music, and Harrison Ford was 64 at the time. He was in such good shape that he did a lot of his own stunts and was able to wear his stuff from The Last Crusade. Look, Harrison, it must be fucking nice to be able to fit your clothes from 19 years, 20 years ago, whatever it is. Okay, some of us can't do that. And the studio wanted a CGI whip. Harrison Ford said, nope. And that's what I have for the fun facts. I know, guys.
I'm letting you decompress there.
Sorry. I got to get going to work again here soon. That's what that was about. My bad.
No.
Yes, I
So
know.
my quick notes: Sean Connery did not die until 2020, as we mentioned before. He was very much so still alive in this movie. They wanted him to do a cameo, but he turned it down because he was just enjoying retirement too damn much. And it took them 4 movies to finally have Harrison Ford say, "I got a bad feeling about this."
Jeez.
And I love that they brought Marion back.
I was gonna say I like that Marion came back. I do, and I
That's what
actually
I got.
was cool setting up Shia LaBeouf to be like the heir apparent to Indiana Jones.
Me too. After it was right around Transformers was a fantastic
he was
movie.
hot, man.
Yeah.
If you're young like me, even Stevens, I loved him in that. But he was
Too
a hot
old for
ticket,
that.
man. He was a hot ticket. And then so
What was that movie that he did where he was like a traveling salesman in the convertible with a bunch of guys? That was
I
the first
forgot.
film that I really enjoyed him in.
But he was really good in Fury. If you ever watched that movie with Brad Pitt, they're the tank crew in World War II. Like he's
Even in that? I don't remember him.
Yeah, he's in it. He's fucking phenomenal. Dude.
Netflix movie, right?
No, it's not a Netflix movie. It came out in theaters.
No Fury?
Fury
Yeah,
came out in
Fury's
theaters.
a great film.
It's got John Bernthal. It's got Brad Pitt, and it's a really good tank battle. It's about this tank crew in World War II. Yeah, go watch it if you have not, because
2014.
yeah, great movie. And look, I always mess with my wife because I rewatched this and it's not as bad as people say. I know.
I think because it seemed like they went the Alien route, and I think it was a little bit more far-fetched.
Well, that's my thing. Is like you guys have no problem with them bringing in like religious artifacts, but as soon as we talk about aliens, which, however, their aliens are real, man, we have a problem. Come on.
I mean, I watched Secret Invasion this morning. I know aliens are real.
Come on. What do you? What do you guys who grew up with Indiana Jones? What do you guys think about this movie?
Oh, I can handle this. Kate Blanchett's a great actress. I'm done. That's the entire
fantastic villain. Harrison didn't recognize her on set. He's like, "Who's that blonde girl?" Because she usually kept her wig on, so she didn't have to like redo hair and makeup. And they're like, "Yeah, that's Kate Blanchett."
That's Kate, boo.
Love Kate Blanchett so much.
Yeah, she's amazing. She
is amazing.
James, are you the same? Did you not like this movie either?
I can't say I loved it.
It's the weakest of the 4. Okay.
Saying something to the effect that who was the director for this one? Was it Spielberg again?
It was Spielberg.
Yeah, I remember saying something about Spielberg raping Indiana Jones.
Oh my god.
something to that effect. That was the
and the South Park guys agreed.
I'm not sure if Indiana Jones consented to that. I don't know.
That's true. This one was written. George Lucas had a hand in this one too, man. So maybe he was just on the Star Wars, like he was done with Star Wars. Think about aliens.
I lost all faith in George Lucas as well when he put he had to be talked out of putting Backstreet Boys into one of the Star Wars films.
I mean, this was one of the last movies.
They didn't. They want to be like stormtroopers or something in the background. Was that because of his daughter?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
This was one of his final movies, I will say.
So let's bring it into Dial of Destiny. Do you have high hopes for Dial of Destiny? Or are you just excited just because it's indie?
I have no idea. I haven't even seen the trailer yet. So
it looks. This is his final supposed. I mean, it's got to be his final outing. He's 80 years old.
He's 80,
and every time I see the movie trailer, like before a movie, because we've been going to the movies a lot lately, I just turn to my wife. I'm like, I'm so excited for it. And she's like, I know, but like, you don't understand. I'm so excited for this.
You never know these days. I just watched Clint Eastwood's last movie. He's 90 years old. The Mule. It's actually pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad.
I haven't seen it.
Not his best, but
he's 90.
Typical,
it's getting harder.
Clint Eastwood, and dude's 90 years old. He's still making films.
Yeah.
And
I mean, he literally had a movie where he yelled at kids to get off his lawn.
That was a great movie. I love that.
Yeah, Gran Torino. Yeah. Yes.
Great flick.
Look, I don't mind Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It's the worst of the 4. I know there's not a lot to say there. So going into Dial of Destiny, man, I'm excited. I'm cautiously optimistic. It looks like a fun, I hope they just capture the spirit is all I have to say.
I'm a sucker, dude.
I'm there.
You give me Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, damn it, I'm going to see it, and I'm either going to be in love or I'm going to be heartbroken, and I'll go back to your first three. But seeing Harrison Ford do anything, I mean,
and Karen Allen's back again. I'm just saying, Marion's back again too.
Karen Allen, oh my lord!
And so is John Rhys Davies. He is back in this. They've got Antonio Banderas as well. Like, I
didn't even know that.
Yes,
I have been avoiding the trailers.
I won't give away anymore, but
Match has ruined it.
I know. I'm sorry. It's a 2.5 hour movie. I'm excited, man. Like I really, really. The director this time is James Mangold. It's not Steven Spielberg.
I love him.
I do too.
Copland is not talking.
I mean, James Mangold did Logan, Mangold, Ford versus Ferrari, Walk the Line.
Do you think it'll be a little bit darker?
I think it's gonna have some adult overtones, but I think
he'll survive. I think he'll survive.
I don't think it can be darker because I get the feeling they're trying to relaunch with a new character. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Well, Shia, if Shia hadn't gone batshit, he'd be the new Indy.
Exactly.
Well, and he picked up the hat and he goes, "Not yet, kid," or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like,
they set him up.
I think in this one, it's going to leave off with him passing the torch to somebody, and he's going to live, and he's going to go into retirement. And this is going to be like the proverbial, like introducing the new generation to Indiana Jones, just like we were introduced. And I think it's going to open some doors.
I mean, Shia could have a 15-year-old kid by this point.
That's true. Different story for a different show, but you know who nailed it? Blade Runner 2049.
Yes, agreed.
They passed it right, and that movie, Daniel
Ryan Gosling, I love him so much. He did the Dunes.
Oh my gosh!
Yep.
2049 is a great movie. They handled the passing of the torch without it being a passing of the torch. Ryan Gosling is an amazing actor, and they did a great job with that.
Agreed.
Without it being fan service.
Yes.
And yet it was still fan service because fans loved it. But it wasn't the obvious, you know what you'd like to see happen? I would love to see that with Dial of Destiny. But I also don't need Indiana Jones to go on.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Some movies just don't need to continue on. I'm with you.
When they tried to make a remake of Big Trouble in Little China, you never, that is lightning in a bottle. You're never going to remake Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
No, there's some things it's like I can't get enough of. Make as many Star Wars or Marvel or Supernatural as you can, but like don't touch Nightmare Before Christmas. Like there's certain things you just don't touch. You leave it be.
Yeah.
It happened. Thank God.
We should have never touched Hocus Pocus. No, I'm just going on Halloween.
Exactly. You're going on a rant.
Save it for October.
Yes.
I think the prequel thing can work out sometimes.
Of course.
So like the Thing is one of my favorite all-time movies.
God, such good horror.
I like the prequel that they made of it because it went right up to the second of the next movie.
I never saw it.
Dude, do yourself a favor and go watch The Thing.
I love
prequel to The Thing.
Do
yourself a favor. It's
a classic horror thing in Halloween. You guys will have to come back.
There we go.
Yeah.
We yes.
You guys any day of the week.
Same. And that's a good dropping off point because I do have to get to work. I know. God damn it. Like that sucks. But as you guys, I want to have you guys lasting thoughts drop where people can find you and remind us the important dates one more time.
So we got the first thing, my man Christian over here, so he's on the left of my screen here. Finally got our e-commerce site up. So you can go and buy all our books at fugitivepoems.com. You can find that. You can find us on Fugitive Poems, pretty much any of the social channels except TikTok because we're old. But any of the other ones, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, but fugitivepoems.com, that's the center of it all. So we have all our books up now that you can get. We have literally just a couple copies. How many copies left, Christian, of Containment Breach 1? Not many.
I definitely under 50, probably closer to 30.
Oh, really? We still have that many. So good. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
That's the last printing of that you're going to be able to get. That's actually on its second printing, and then that's done. We're going to be at Terrificon in Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, July 28th. We're going to launch our third Kickstarter for Containment Breach 4. And then we're going to be at Baltimore Comic Con. It's in September. I believe it's the 8th, but don't quote me on that.
I don't remember that. If you go to fugitivepoems.com right now, you can get my card. No, that's not right. You can get this amazing, anyone who backed volume 3 gets this incredible challenge coin keychain bottle opener.
I love challenge coins, man. Hell yeah.
We are I was gonna say drunks. Let's say alcohol enthusiasts.
No,
and
being the member of the military, a couple of my coins are also bottle openers. That's a big thing. So yes,
but that's cleaner than using my shoe, which we've had to do before while podcasting. Because I have a bottle
now
opener
with
on
Brian
my shoe.
O'Halloran and Jeff Anderson, nonetheless.
Yes, the clerks used my shoe to open
with
their
clerks.
beers.
They used yes.
Really?
Oh
Yeah.
yes, the clerks dudes have used Lauren's nasty, dirty shoe to open up a Heineken.
I forgot I even had it on my shoe.
Lauren, if we were at Fan X this year, Jared Padalecki could probably be doing the same thing. I'm just saying.
It would be truly supernatural.
Yes. Go ahead.
Fugitive Poems t-shirts, which this is not one of, but this is a t-shirt. You can get them there. This is a chicken t-shirt because I love chickens. Nothing's funnier than a chicken.
I have 4 of them in my backyard.
You're very cocky about that shirt.
Keychain bottle openers. We got all kinds of cool stuff. Fugitivepoems.com. If you missed the Kickstarter for Volume 3, go there. You can get it. If we're in a good mood, we might even sign it. You know whose signature doesn't matter? Mine. I'm the writer. But if you're lucky, the artist who is on my bottom left here, James, people are like, oh, who's responsible for the story? I'm like, well, I wrote it. And they're like, right, who drew it? Yeah, that motherfucker right there. And he's an incredible talent. We're going to be at Terrificon, as he said. We're going to be at Baltimore. We're going to be at other places. You want to buy an original piece of art from this man because I'm astounded all the time by what he does. And you know what I'm also astounded by is Matthew and there's Wonder Woman. Matthew Lauren,
she'll be on sale at both the Comic Cons.
That's right.
That's
sick. Get her while she's hot.
This is such a cool show to be on, and I cannot tell you how grateful I am. And the fact that I can come on here already a tad bit buzzed is perfect.
Some of our best
I come
work
on here a
is
tad
the
bit
more we
buzzed
drink.
all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the time, man. That is the best. We love having you guys on. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, folks. Go watch it in theaters the way movies should first be seen, unless it's certain films. I don't know what comes to mind right now. But Indiana Jones,
not good ones.
Not good ones. But Indiana Jones,
not allowed to watch
Barbie, those kind of things are meant to be seen on the big screen. So go support your local theater. Yeah, of course, Barbie. I will
definitely be taking my kids to this one so they can have their first in theater experience.
I think I'm gonna take my 7-year-old.
We're all taking our kids so we don't look like weirdos going without kids.
No, he's talking about Indiana Jones, not Barbie.
Oh, I thought you meant Barbie.
No,
I'm going to see Barbie.
I'm going to go see Barbie day one, probably, whatever. But yes, as always, go check them out. Fugitive-poems.com. It will be in the link of this episode. Hops Geek News, any podcasting platform, any social media platform. Come hang out with us. We really appreciate you guys. Come hang out on the Discord. We love to just chat anything, comics, movies, TV shows, and beer as well. Hang out with us. I can't wait to hopefully meet you guys in person here soon. I'm coming back to the East Coast. As always, folks, go watch a good movie. Cheers.
Dun, 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 dun.